My boyfriend turned my midnight Uber rides into a scoreboard. I found my private trips lighting up in his group chat like I was a game. He said it was love. I found the tracker duct taped under my trunk. He tried to leash me with GPS and jokes. So I turned his surveillance into evidence and let the silence finish him. The car door closed with a soft thunk. That sound always comforted me. Clean. Final. A pause between worlds. The Uber air smelled like lemon cleaner, warm from the vents, sharp in my nostrils. Outside, hot street air pressed against the windows. Inside, it was quiet except for the low hum of the dashboard, washing my hands in a faint blue light. I was halfway across town. Midnight lights smeared past the window like soft neon tears. My phone buzzed gently in my palm, one buzz, then two. Not Uber. I glanced down. The screen lit up with a group chat notification. I didn't recognize the thread name at first, but I knew the names. It was his friends, and the image on my screen was a screenshot of my own Uber trip. Pickup, South Grove Avenue. Drop-off, Silverlight Tap Room. Time, 11:48 p.m. Exactly right. And underneath the screenshot, where's she going at midnight? I blinked, frozen. My hand tingled from how hard I was gripping the phone. The driver hummed along to a soft R&B track up front, unaware. Another message popped in, just beneath the first. She's at that bar again. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let us know where you're listening from in the comments. My name is Natalie. I'm 27 years old. And this is what really happened. I didn't answer the messages. Didn't even react outwardly. I just stared at the screen, heart crawling up my throat like a trapped insect. I hadn't told anyone I was going out tonight, not even Liam. We'd had a weird tension lately. He'd gotten touchier about knowing where I was, but never outright controlling. I thought. And now, his friends? Joking about my location like it was some TikTok gossip thread? The Uber chime went off as we hit a red light. My eyes flicked to the app. It was working fine. No shared ride, no group split, no visible trip history for anyone else. But the screenshot was real. I closed the chat, fingers slick, swiped into Uber, double-checked my settings. No active share, no linked family, no contacts with access. So how the hell did they know? I was still staring when Liam's name lit up my phone. Text message, Liam. You good? I stared at it. And he knew where I was. And he wanted me to know that he knew. I replied, casual. Me. Yeah, just heading home soon. He didn't answer. The Uber rolled to a stop. I thanked the driver, stepped out. The bar's soft glow spilled onto the sidewalk. Laughter tumbled from inside. Someone shouted. Glasses clinked. My stomach wasn't in the mood for any of it. I crossed the street and ducked into a CVS instead. Walked the aisles aimlessly, pretended to browse toothpaste and Advil while my mind raced. I called him. He picked up instantly. Liam. Hey, you okay? Me. Yeah, just saw a weird message. Liam. Oh? Me. From your group chat. Liam. Light chuckle. Oh my god, they're being dumb again. What did they say? Me. My trip. They sent a screenshot. Silence. Then Liam. They're just messing around. As it's a joke. Me. How'd they even get that screenshot? Another pause. I could almost hear him chewing on his answer. Liam. I don't know. Maybe it's some bug. You shared your account with me once, remember? I didn't. Not really. I remembered he helped me reinstall the app when my phone glitched last month. I'd let him handle it while I microwaved popcorn. Maybe. Then? Me. Did you log into my Uber? Liam. No, don't be paranoid. Seriously, Nat. My name and his voice made my skin crawl. Me. Just felt weird, that's all. Liam. You're always safe with me, you know that. The line went quiet for a beat too long. I hung up gently, didn't argue, didn't accuse. I just opened my phone settings, scrolled to Devices, and there it was. An iPad I didn't recognize logged in under my name, active. He's signed in from a location I hadn't visited in weeks. My fingers trembled slightly as I clicked for more info. The device had last synced with my account today. And then, a notification buzzed in. Group chat. Tell her to smile more when she walks. She looks stressed, lol. They were watching. Not just once. Not just tonight. Regularly. I dropped my phone into my bag and left the store. Walked 3 blocks. Fast. Looked over my shoulder twice. When I got home, I locked the door, closed the blinds, and turned off every light. Then I sat in the dark, scrolling. Uber, Gmail, Apple ID, Instagram, iCloud, Google Maps. So many places that tracked me. So many ways someone could peek in, if they had the right access. And Liam had once said, "Let me just set it up for you, babe. I know your passcode." He did. And maybe he still did. But what he didn't know was that I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to beg. I was going to find out how deep this hole went. Because if he was watching me, I wanted him to know I was watching back. The next morning, I woke up before my alarm. Phone in hand, jaw tight. Still dark out, except for the LED glow from my charging cable. I didn't touch my apps, not yet. I just stared at the wallpaper. Liam had taken that photo of me. I was laughing, squinting into the sun. The background was washed out, just sky and a hint of a boardwalk. I'd loved that day. Now I wasn't sure if anything about it was ever private. I opened settings, again. That iPad was still listed, not mine, still active, still signed in. So I started testing everything. Uber. I changed the email. Gmail. I checked forwarding rules. iCloud. I scrolled deep. Devices, location settings, screen time, family sharing. That's where I saw it. Location sharing. On. Shared with Liam. Under Find My. I hadn't done that. I felt a tightness across my chest, like something had been stitched inside me without permission. I toggled it off, immediately. Then I called him. Liam. Morning, beautiful. Me, flat. Hey, quick question. Liam. Yeah? Me. Did you set up location sharing from my phone? He laughed, casually. Too casually. Liam. A while ago, maybe. You said I could, when we were driving to your cousin's. Me. I don't remember saying yes. Pause. Liam. You're being weird. I thought we were good. Me. Why is your iPad still logged into my account? The tone shifted instantly. Liam. What are you doing, checking on me now? Me. No. I'm locking things down. Click. I ended the call. Not because I was scared of his response, because I needed silence to think. That day, I skipped my usual stop at the cafe. Instead, I went to the library, logged into a public computer. I made a list. Apple ID, change password. Uber, change email. Gmail, disable forwards. Find My, off family. Sharing, remove all devices, review and sign out. Then I created a second list, one I didn't write down. Who do I trust? It was shorter than I wanted it to be. My friend Camilla came to mind. She lived one neighborhood over, worked remote. She wouldn't freak out. I texted her. Me. Hey, can I ask you for a favor? Private. Not dangerous. Just weird. Girl stuff. She replied in 2 minutes. Camilla. Say less. I'm home. Come over. Her place smelled like cinnamon and dryer sheets. Then she handed me a mug of coffee and looked me over. Camilla. Girl, what happened? I told her everything. Not dramatically, just facts. The group chat, the screenshots, the device, the tracking, the fake casual check-ins. Camila. That's what the actual... Okay, no, this is stalking. She helped me set up a safety word, a check-in time. We tested it. If I texted her candlelight, she'd call the police. No questions. I also started recording. Screenshots, device settings, chat logs. Every piece of evidence went into a new folder on a new cloud account Liam didn't know about. That night, I took a second phone. A burner Camilla had from a temp gig. I left my main phone at her apartment. I walked 2 miles with that burner in my pocket. Stopped at a 24-hour bodega, bought gum, then walked back. No Uber, no app, no trace. The next morning, I checked my regular phone. 1 missed call from Liam, 3 texts. Liam, where were you last night? Everything okay? You're being distant. I can feel it. He couldn't feel it. He saw it. I never logged in, never pinged location. And still, he knew I'd broken pattern. That night, I went deeper. I opened Gmail, checked the security settings again. Hidden in the filters tab, an auto-forwarding rule. Every Uber receipt was being forwarded to a backup email, not mine. The address looked like a throwaway, n.travels2023@gmail.com. I didn't recognize it. But when I hovered, it showed active. I disabled the rule, deleted it. Then I logged out. All devices. Force sign out. That's when my phone rang. Liam, again. I let it go to voicemail. He didn't leave one. But 5 minutes later, he texted, "Did you just change your Gmail?" He wasn't even pretending anymore. I made one more change that night. A small one, but it felt symbolic. I changed my Uber profile name from Natalie R to Nobody. Just for me. Just for now. Because I wanted to see if he noticed, and if the next screenshot that landed in that group chat used that name, I'd know. This wasn't a fluke. It was a routine. My Uber chime went off again the next night. Standard sound. Too familiar. But this time, I wasn't inside the car. I was sitting on Camilla's couch, legs tucked under me, watching a reality show we weren't really paying attention to. The phone buzzed. A message slid down the screen. It was from the same group chat, same tone, same violation. Nobody's going to Midtown again. They said nobody. They used the name from my Uber account. I hadn't told anyone I changed it, and I hadn't even booked a ride. I'd scheduled it. Just scheduled it. A decoy. Pick up near Camilla's. Drop off in Midtown. Then I canceled it 5 minutes later. Only someone with back-end access could have seen that pending ride. Not a friend. Not a glitch. Not a coincidence. This was access. Intentional. Real. I turned to Camilla. Me. They used the new name. Camilla. Oh my God. Me. They saw the fake trip. She grabbed the remote, muted the TV. Camilla, you have to go to the police. This is stalking. Actual stalking. I nodded slowly. Because it wasn't just about the Uber rides anymore. It was about training, patterns, control. Flashbacks hit me in pieces. At the time Liam showed up, randomly, at my dog's vet appointment. The text that arrived 3 minutes after I entered a yoga class I never told him about. Hope your back survives hot yoga. The moment he mentioned a restaurant, I'd only walked by twice. Didn't you say you liked that Thai place on 8th? I never did. I never said. He'd been gathering data, reading my life like a map. The memory that hit hardest? 6 months ago. My phone glitched after a failed iOS update. I panicked. I had deadlines, rides scheduled, everything in there. Liam said, "Let me handle it." He sat on my couch, tapped through screens while I made us popcorn. "Just logging you back into everything," he said. Smile, calm, reassuring. I trusted that moment. Didn't realize he was tethering himself to my life. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I sat with Camilla and built a file. A real one. Folder name, evidence, Natalie R. Inside, screenshots of the group chat messages, timeline of events, forwarded, Uber receipts, screen recording of the fake scheduled ride and the chat response. List of all devices that accessed my accounts. Screenshot of nobody being referenced in the group chat. It was ugly, clean, and powerful. In the morning, I booked an appointment at the police station, not a 911 situation, but enough for a paper trail. I told the officer everything, showed him the file. He asked calm questions. Date of relationship, when the tracking began. If I ever said yes. I said, I didn't know there was anything to say yes to. He gave me a case number. Number 2026-19814. Stalking/coercive tech monitoring. Told me to call if I felt physically unsafe. I nodded. Then I took the bus home, not Uber, and I turned off location services. Again. Liam called that evening. Again. I didn't pick up. He texted, "Why are you ghosting me? Did I do something?" Then, 5 minutes later, "Your name disappeared from my Find My, just checking in." Still pretending. Still trying to sound casual. Like he hadn't orchestrated every breadcrumb I'd walked on for a year. Like this wasn't his theater. The next day, I went to the Apple store. Not to buy anything. To sit with a genius bar tech and ask questions. Can someone be inside my iCloud without me knowing? Answer: yes, if they have access to your trusted device. Can someone pair my phone to another? Answer: yes, if they had physical access and the passcode. Can someone forward all Uber receipts from Gmail? Answer: yes. With a simple filter rule. I looked up slowly. Me. How many women ask you these questions? Tech, quietly. More than you'd think. That night, I made a full list of what he'd done. Not to torture myself, to understand the pattern. This wasn't sudden. This was a campaign. He'd trained my movements. Every time he guessed something, he was reinforcing a lesson. Be predictable. Be visible. Don't question how he knows. Every time he texted, "Where you at?" Or, "You good?" Or, "Funny, you're always at that place." He was rehearsing power. I pulled the burner phone from my bag, opened notes, typed one line. He never hit me, but he tried to own me. That line stuck with me, felt heavier than the screenshots, because tracking doesn't leave bruises, it leaves shadows, mistrust. You start second-guessing every friendly moment, every coincidence, every casual joke about your schedule. Until one day you realize, he's not following you, he's managing you. I didn't tell Liam I was going quiet. I just did it. I deleted the Uber app, logged out of everything, switched off Find My, GPS, even Bluetooth. Then I turned the burner phone into my main, just for now. The silence that followed was almost spiritual. No pings. No "you good?" texts. No screenshots. It felt like walking into a room where the walls had stopped whispering. That Monday, I took a full day off work. I told my manager I had personal safety issues. She didn't pry. HR had a protocol. They handed me a packet with numbers for advocacy centers and local DV counselors. Inside was a checklist titled Digital Coercion Response Plan, as it felt like it had been written just for me. First step: tell one trusted person everything. Already done. Camilla was solid. Second step: document everything. Already building the file. Third: quietly remove access. That part started now. I used a fresh computer at the library, signed up for a brand new email. Then one by one, I changed everything. Apple ID, Google login, Uber bank accounts, Venmo, social media. I enabled 2FA with the new number. I used random strings for passwords. I didn't reuse a single one. Then I called Verizon and added a PIN lock to my account. I also checked for number share devices. Liam had once offered to help me sync texts across my iPad and phone. There had been nothing generous about that. Later that night, I texted Liam from the burner. "That's me. You're logged out of all my accounts now. Please don't contact me again." Me, 2 minutes later. Any further access to my data will be reported. Case number 2026-19814. He didn't reply. Not immediately. But I knew that silence wasn't surrender. It was the inhale before the next control play. The next day, Camilla drove me to the Apple store again. This time, I asked for a full device wipe, factory reset, fresh install, new Apple ID. I watched the Genius Bar rep carefully. He showed me how to disable pairing requests, turn off shared location, and check for hidden profiles or device management settings. Nothing hidden, no MDM. I still didn't feel safe. I walked out into the afternoon sun. Camilla handed me a water bottle. Camilla, what's next? Me. Check for physical trackers. Her expression changed. At Camilla. Like those AirTag things? I nodded. That night, we tore apart everything. My bag, my makeup pouches, my umbrella, my car, even though I barely drove it. Floor mats, under the seats, inside the spare tire compartment. That's where we found it. An AirTag, duct taped to the underside of the carpet flap in the trunk. Camilla gasped. Camilla. Oh my God. Me. Check your phone, scan it. She opened the Find My app, hit items that can track me. The tag pinged. Registered under an Apple ID we didn't recognize. It only showed partial email, just the first letter. But it was enough. L***** at iCloud.com, Liam. I placed the AirTag in a sealed Altoids tin and dropped it in a public trash bin near a gas station. I wanted him to think he still had a signal, let him chase a lie. Back at Camilla's, I updated the file. Found AirTag photo of duct tape, screenshot of tracking alert iCloud partial email. Then I added one more thing. I screen recorded my Uber location name, nobody, and the message in his group chat that referenced it. That one still hurt, because it wasn't just Liam, it was his friends. Watching me, commenting, laughing. I felt like my entire private life had been turned into a subscription service I didn't sign up for. At 2:14 a.m., the burner buzzed. Liam. What the hell, Nat? Why are you acting like I'm a criminal? Everything I did was to keep you safe. You don't get it. Guys notice things. I just wanted to know where you were. I only shared stuff because I care. Each message came in like a drip from a broken pipe. Then the last one. If you go around telling people this I'll make sure they see what you've been up to. Threat. Documented. Saved. The next day, Camilla and I walked into the downtown advocacy center. I showed them the folder, the screenshots, the threats, the tracking, the fake Uber ride. The counselor didn't blink. She'd seen this before. She handed me a list of next steps. One line was bolded. You don't need bruises to ask for protection. As we left, I said it out loud to myself. Everything I thought was just annoying was actually evidence. Because tracking isn't about curiosity. It's about control. And control doesn't stop because you ask nicely. It stops when you shut it off. The first thing I did after the advocacy center was go to Walmart. Not for drama, for a document box. The cheap kind with a snapping lid and a fake wood print on the outside. So I grabbed a pack of manila folders, a USB drive, and a 3-ring binder. The receipt printed long and loud at the self-checkout, and I folded it neatly into my purse. Proof likes paper. Back at Camilla's, I printed everything. Screenshots of the group chat, the fake Uber ride, the forwarding rule, the iPad device log, the AirTag in my trunk, duct tape still clinging to it like a bad secret. I labeled each page with a date and time in black Sharpie. When you're building a case, you stop thinking like a girlfriend. You start thinking like a witness. I went home for the first time in 3 days. The apartment smelled faintly like Liam's cologne. He'd left a hoodie draped over the back of my kitchen chair weeks ago. I hadn't noticed the scent before. Now it felt invasive like smoke after a fire. I opened every window. Yeah, then I checked the locks. The lease was in my name, month to month. HOA rules were strict about security cameras in shared hallways, but I ordered a small interior camera anyway, just in case. My phone buzzed, not the burner, the reset phone. A new Uber notification. Your driver is arriving. I hadn't ordered one. The blue glow washed over my fingers again. Same cold light, same old dread. I opened the app. There was a scheduled ride. Pickup, my address. Drop off, Liam's apartment. Scheduled for 6:30 p.m. I didn't book it. I took a screenshot immediately. Then I screen recorded myself canceling it. My heart wasn't racing, not like before. It was steady now, focused. He was trying to make me look unstable, or trying to prove I was still reachable. Either way, he slipped. I called Uber support. The rep was calm, rehearsed. Uber support. We can see an IP address associated with the booking. It's not your current device. Me. Can you document that? Uber support. Yes, we'll email a confirmation of the access log. I gave them my new email. When the message came through, I saved it straight to the USB. IP location, not my apartment, not Camila's. It pinged from across town, from a neighborhood near Liam's job. He wasn't just tracking me, he was impersonating me. That afternoon, I went to the county clerk's office downtown. The building smelled like dust and old paperwork. The line moved slow, DMV slow. I clutched the binder against my chest. When my number was called, I stepped forward and asked about filing for a temporary protective order. The clerk slid a stack of forms under the glass. Fill these out. Include your evidence. You'll get a hearing date within 10 days. 10 days, I wrote carefully. Relationship duration, digital surveillance, physical tracker, threats via text. I included the case number from the police report. County clerk, case number 2026-21477. Seeing it typed in official ink made everything feel heavier, more real. I wasn't being dramatic, I was being documented. That night, the group chat exploded again. Camilla had managed to get a screenshot from someone in the thread, one of the guys she knew from college. Apparently, they were starting to get uncomfortable. The message read, "Bro, this isn't funny anymore." Another one. "Did you actually put a tracker on her car?" Then Liam, "Relax, she said I could. She's just trying to make me look crazy." I stared at that line for a long time. He was already building his defense. At gaslight first, blame second, victim third, classic sequence. I screen recorded the entire thread. Later that night, he called from a blocked number. I answered. "Liam, why are you doing this?" Me. "Doing what?" Liam. "Going to the police? Filing things?" Me. "You put a tracker in my car." Liam. "You're overreacting." Me. "You logged into my accounts." Liam. "Because I care about you." Me. "You shared my location in a group chat." Silence. Then his voice dropped lower. Liam. "If you ruin my life over this, I swear." I hung up, not shaking, not crying, just done. The next morning, I got confirmation from Apple. The AirTag serial number had been registered to his Apple ID, not partial, full. I printed that email too, added it to the binder. The stack was getting thick now, thick enough to matter. Bang, he showed up that afternoon. Not at my door, at my job. I work at a small marketing firm near a Starbucks and a dry cleaner. Open glass lobby, friendly front desk. He walked in with flowers, smiling. The receptionist texted me immediately. "Your boyfriend's here." I walked out to the lobby. Didn't hug him, didn't smile. Liam. "Can we talk?" Me. "No." Liam. "Natalie, this is insane." Me. "You tracked me." Liam. "I was worried." Me. "You installed a device in my car." People were staring now. The blue glow from the reception desk monitor lit his face from below. He looked smaller in public, less confident. I pulled a copy of the AirTag registration email from my bag, held it up. Me. This is yours. His eyes flicked to it, then back to me. For a second I saw it, not love, not regret, calculation. Yet he realized I wasn't bluffing. He stepped closer. Liam, you're going to regret this. I stepped back. Me. You already do. Security asked him to leave. He didn't fight it, he just looked at me like I'd broken something that belonged to him. That night, I sat alone in my apartment. Windows open, hoodie gone, locks double-checked. My phone buzzed once. Uber notification. Your driver is arriving. I had actually ordered it this time. I grabbed my bag, walked outside. The car door closed with that same soft thunk. The lemon cleaner smell filled the air. Dashboard glow, blue against my hands. My phone stayed silent. No group chat. No, you good? No shadow watching. For the first time in weeks, the Uber chime meant exactly one thing. A ride, not a leash. I didn't go back to Camila's that night. Yeah, I didn't need to. The house felt different. Not safe, but empty. Like the surveillance had finally stepped out into the open, taken a bow, and left. I brushed my teeth with the door cracked, kept my phone on silent, turned off every app I didn't recognize. Still, I didn't sleep, because something was still stuck, something I hadn't fully seen, the group chat. I'd only seen slivers. Camila's screenshot, a few quotes, a scroll capture from the contact in common, but I hadn't seen it all, so I found a way in. It started with a guess. Liam had used the same password before, one of his emails. A burner, I was sure of it. He wasn't good at hiding in plain sight. He liked having control, but he also liked recognition. The group chat was hosted in an app I didn't normally use, Discord, gaming stuff. But he once tried to get me to join. I downloaded it again, tried forgot password, tried every email combo I could remember, then one worked. Password reset sent. I logged in, no two-factor, and there it was. The watch list. That's what the group thread was called. No emoji, no subtlety, just what it was. Messages dated back over 8 months. She's at that gym again. Bet she goes to that coffee place after. Called it. Look at the timestamp. Screenshots, Google Maps pins, photos, some pulled from her social media, some clearly not. Me, sometimes in public, sometimes inside shops. Nothing obviously illegal, just creepy, like a scavenger hunt for someone's life. Except I was the prize, and they were all playing. I scrolled. One post chilled me more than the others. Liam. She's being moody again. Probably seeing someone. Then a reply. Need to scare her a little? Fake Uber cancel? Or drop another trip in the chat? Bet she backs off if she knows we're watching. No one objected. No one said, that's too far. They just riffed. My life. As content. I screen recorded the whole thread. Named the file. Control_doc_thread_full.move. Stored it in the USB. Then printed key pages and added them to the binder. It was nearly full now. Proof doesn't heal you, but it builds the bridge out. I brought the binder to the courthouse on Friday. The waiting room was quiet. Posters about DV awareness lined the walls. The clerk stamped the file. Hearing set, 10 days. Temporary order active immediately. I walked out with a printed notice. Restraining order. Pending hearing. Subject, Liam Carter. What case number? 2026-21477. I held it like a shield. The next day, I got a message from an unknown number. Not a threat. An apology. One of the guys from the group chat. Mark. I didn't realize it had gone that far. I thought it was just Liam joking. Sorry for being part of it. Then, I'm not friends with him anymore. He lied to all of us. I saved the text. Another piece. Another witness. That weekend, Liam's employer emailed me from the HR department. Subject line: Employee Misconduct Inquiry. They had received the case file through the appropriate legal channels. They were investigating. I didn't ask for revenge. But when men turn women into data, they forget that paper works both ways. Camila and I sat on her back porch that evening. Spring air, quiet wind. You show the faint sound of someone grilling in the next yard over. She handed me a popsicle like we were kids again. Camila: You okay? Me: Getting there. She hesitated, then asked, Camila, you think he really thought it was love? I stared at the fence. Me: I think he thought love was something you manage. Me: Like an account, a routine, a GPS ping. Then I added, he didn't want a girlfriend, he wanted a dashboard. Camilla didn't respond. There wasn't anything left to say. Monday morning, Liam tried again. Another blocked call, another voicemail. Liam, voice shaking. This is crazy. You don't have to ruin everything. I just wanted to be close. You never let me in, Nat. I had to find ways. I never hurt you. I never touched you. Then silence. Then, hope softer. You always said you wanted someone to know where you were. Well, I did. I played it twice, then saved it. Added it to the folder. Label, voicemail_admittance_ Liam.wav. Evidence doesn't lie, even when love does. That night, I took an Uber again. Real trip this time. Nothing fake, no test. Just me, going to meet Camilla for dinner. The car pulled up. The same lemon cleaner smell. The dashboard cast blue light across my fingers. I watched the app. No pings, no pop-ups, no messages. And for the first time since this started, I realized something. He used to say, I just want to know you're safe. But what he really meant was, I want to be the one who decides what safe looks like. He doesn't get to decide anymore. The idea for the decoy trip came while brushing my teeth. Not dramatic, not cinematic. He had just a quiet thought in the mirror. If Liam was still watching me, still had a window somewhere, I needed to catch him in real time. So I built a trap. I reinstalled Uber on a brand new device. Not my reset phone. A loaner from work, clean login, new email, no prior ride history. I set up a ride for 9:30 p.m. Pickup, a random bus stop 3 neighborhoods away. Drop off, an upscale condo complex I'd never visited. I even picked a route I'd never taken in my life. No bookmarks, no GPS searches. Only one person could see it. Someone with direct back-end access. I scheduled the ride, then canceled it 5 minutes later. Didn't move, didn't speak, just waited. Camilla was on standby. She knew the exact plan. We sat in her kitchen, quiet, dim light, laptop open, screen recording on. Then it happened. Ping. Not to me, to her phone. The contact from Liam's group chat had forwarded a screenshot. She's headed to Langston Towers? The exact address from the decoy trip. It landed in the group chat at 9:33 p.m., 3 minutes after the ride was scheduled. She wasn't in the group anymore, but the contact still was. He'd quietly forwarded it. Sickened. That screenshot was the final piece. Camilla's screen recording showed everything: the message, timestamp, the exact address, the chat's context, the sender. I copied the clip onto a labeled drive, named it final_trap_confirmation.move. Added a sticky note in red. Trap set, trap triggered. We didn't celebrate, just exhaled. The next morning, I walked into the police station, told the front desk I had an active restraining order, that the subject had violated it again, digitally. The officer took my statement, reviewed the files, confirmed the messages matched the criteria for digital harassment under state law. A detective was assigned, not just a file now, a human face, badge, notebook, business card. Detective Salinas, DV/Tech Crimes Division. She asked the right questions. How long had the group chat existed? Did he ever explicitly threaten? Had he ever used location to confront me in person? Yes. 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 She gave me a quiet nod, then said the words that stuck. He's not just watching you. He's distributing your privacy like entertainment. That's a felony in this state. Meanwhile, Liam had gone quiet. No calls, no texts, no blocked numbers. But something shifted in the air. Camilla texted me a screenshot. Liam's social media. Taking a break from everything, mental health first. Respect my space. The comments were split, half supportive, half suspicious. One even read, "Didn't you get outed for stalking?" People were noticing, not because I screamed, because I documented. I spent the rest of the week closing doors, deleted the old Uber account, permanently closed the original Gmail, changed all backup numbers, removed emergency contacts Liam could exploit. I even checked my voter registration and DMV info. He couldn't touch anything else. Everything was a sealed box now. On Saturday, I received an email from Uber. We have completed your privacy audit request. Your previous account was accessed by a third party using shared credentials. This activity has been logged and submitted to legal compliance. I printed it, added it to the binder. That made 108 pages. Later that night, Camilla and I walked the promenade. Spring lights twinkled overhead. Kids in strollers. Ice cream stands still open. I paused at the railing overlooking the bay. The air smelled like salt and sunscreen, families talking, laughter floating past. She leaned on the rail next to me. "Camilla, you feel free yet?" I took a breath. "Me. No. Me. But I feel sealed." She nodded. "Camila, sealed is good. Sealed is strong." When I got home, I opened the binder one more time. Flipped to the last page. The decoy trip screenshot, the timestamp, the chat reply. I wrote in pen across the bottom margin. "You tried to turn my movements into a scoreboard, but I turned your scoreboard into a confession." The email from Detective Salinas came at 8:17 a.m. on a Wednesday. And subject: formal update on Carter investigation. Inside. Confirmation that Liam had been contacted. A notice that the restraining order had been reviewed for upgrade to permanent, pending a hearing. And the line that made me reread twice. "We have reason to believe Mr. Carter is still accessing your movements through a secondary channel." My chest tightened. Not from fear, from exhaustion. I had shut every door, changed every password, wiped every device. How was he still watching? I replied calmly, asked if they suspected a new physical tracker. Or worse, a person. Could he have asked someone to follow me? No response yet. I opened my laptop, clicked through every account again. Phone carrier, Uber, Google, Gmail, even DoorDash. Then it hit me, my iCloud calendar. I hadn't used it in months. But it was still syncing across devices. Still logged into an old MacBook I hadn't touched since last summer. The one I let Liam use to apply for jobs when his laptop crashed. I opened the login page. Someone had last accessed the calendar 2 days ago. There it was. A note. "Natalie, therapy 4 p.m. at Ridgeway." He knew where I was going, because I'd written it, and left the door unlocked. I wiped the calendar, factory reset the MacBook, deregistered the device from my iCloud entirely. Then I changed the final thing I hadn't touched yet, my name. Legally? No. But everywhere else? Yes. On Venmo, on email, on social media, on rideshare apps, on my new phone's home screen. Camilla helped me choose a nickname, one no one called me, but that still felt like mine. L, short, clean, new. I called the DV advocate that afternoon. Asked her about name protection resources. She told me there was a local program that helped women file address privacy requests through the state. I filled out the form that same day. That weekend, I did something radical. I laughed. Camilla and I went to a comedy show downtown. She wore a huge, floppy hat. I wore my hair in a bun so tight I could feel it when I blinked. The show was crass, loud, messy. I loved it. At one point, the comic yelled into the mic, "Any exes you want to shout out tonight?" Camilla squeezed my hand under the table. I didn't raise mine. I didn't need to. Liam's presence had stopped being a shadow. He was just a case number now. The following Tuesday, Uber sent me a second email. They had permanently banned the IP used to access my previous account. The ban was tied to 3 flagged user accounts, all created from the same location. That location matched Liam's work address. He'd made fake logins, built fake users, just to keep watching. The trap I set hadn't just proved one point, it proved pattern, premeditation. I printed the email, page 109. Then came the scare. 2 days later, I left my building at 6:12 p.m., heading to a Walgreens 2 blocks over. As I turned the corner, a silver Hyundai slowed near the curb. Tinted windows, too slow to be casual. It crept past me, paused at the light. I didn't break pace, didn't flinch. I stepped into the first open store and waited behind the window display. The car didn't come back. But I saw the license plate. I texted it to Camilla, then to Detective Salinas. 2 hours later, she confirmed. It was registered to Liam's cousin. Probation already violated. One more thread pulled. The hearing came fast. I didn't dress fancy. Just clean jeans, a navy sweater, hair back. I brought the binder. Camilla came too. Liam didn't show. His lawyer did. Tried to argue there was no physical harm, that it was relationship drama, that I had changed my identity to evade emotional consequences. Then the judge asked me one question. "Do you feel safe?" I said, "No, but I finally feel seen." Permanent restraining order granted. 3 years. Digital and physical contact prohibited. Enforceable across state lines. Any violation would escalate to criminal charges. When I stepped out of the courthouse, the sun was high and clean. I didn't check my phone. I didn't think about screenshots. I just walked. That night, Camilla and I sat on my fire escape. Wine, plastic cups, a bowl of microwave popcorn between us. She said, "You know, if this were a movie, this would be the part where you throw his phone into the river or something." I laughed. Then I reached for my own phone, opened Uber. "Watch this." I typed in a pickup address. My real one. Drop off. The late-night diner downtown. Clicked confirm. Watched the screen light up. Driver arriving in 4 minutes. And then, nothing. No chat pings, no screenshots. No. I held the phone in my palm, felt the soft heat of it. Not panic, not fear, just warmth. It hummed once. The driver had arrived. Camilla watched me stand. She smiled. Me. "It's just a ride this time." Camilla. "Yeah, but it's yours." The final sever wasn't one moment. It was hundreds of small ones. Tiny threads I hadn't realized were still attached. A remembered password, a saved Wi-Fi network, a shared Spotify login that still showed my recently played. Each one a window, each one a leak. So I made a list. Total cutoff checklist. Handwritten. Block letters. I started with devices. I factory reset every piece of tech I owned. Laptop, phone, iPad I hadn't used since college. Wiped, logged out, encrypted. Then I switched my phone number. I didn't just block Liam, I changed the line entirely. New SIM, new carrier PIN, new voicemail message that didn't include my name. Gone. Then came the emotional tech, the shadowy stuff. I opened old playlists we'd shared and deleted them, removed his contact from Venmo, changed my Apple ID security questions. Even those had roots in our conversations. "What was your first concert?" Liam and I went together. I'd used it as my answer once. Now I changed it to something he'd never guess. A memory I never gave him. Mine. I logged out of every smart device, TVS speakers, even my fitness tracker. I didn't want a single algorithm feeding him breadcrumbs, nothing in my wake, no pattern to follow, just silence. After that came the letters. I wrote two. One for the county clerk's office, confirming my request to remove Liam as my emergency contact on all past legal filings, and one for my health insurance provider, revoking third-party access Liam once had when we co-signed a flu shot program at a Walgreens 2 years ago. He didn't need it then, he weaponized it later. Every paper trail mattered. Then I did something unexpected. I sat in front of my closet. I pulled out a small box of things I hadn't touched in months. Photos, ticket stubs, a bracelet he'd bought me on a vacation I never fully enjoyed. I stared at the bracelet a long time, then dropped it in the trash. Closure wasn't fire, it was choice, not dramatic, just final. At 3:43 p.m. that Thursday, my phone buzzed. An email from Apple Legal Support. Subject: Device ownership match confirmed. AirTag serial number verified. They attached a form. Tracker registered to Liam Carter, Apple ID. L. Carter, dot asterisk, 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 at iCloud.com. Activation date, April 19th, 25. Deactivation date, February 3rd, 26. I added it to the binder, page 124. The last one. The case was closed. But the fallout wasn't. The group chat had turned on him. Camilla showed me new screenshots. Same thread, new energy. She wasn't lying. He went way too far. I'm out. It don't want to be involved. One guy even wrote, "If you're reading this, man, get help, or get ready for court." They weren't his audience anymore, just potential witnesses. The surveillance squad had turned into a jury. The biggest shift, though, came from a person I didn't expect. Liam's sister. She messaged me privately on Instagram. "I'm sorry, I didn't know he'd gone that far. I believed him when he said it was mutual. He lied to all of us." Then, "If you ever need someone to testify to his history of control, I will." I saved the message, didn't respond. But I felt something move, a crack of accountability, maybe even a start. That weekend, I did something I hadn't done in months. I walked into a cafe without checking over my shoulder. No burner phone, no locked bag, just me. The barista smiled. I wrote my name on the cup. Not Natalie, not nobody, not L, just N. Enough to be me, but not his. I took my coffee to the window, watched a city that no longer watched me back. Then my phone buzzed. "Camilla, you okay?" I smiled, typed back, "Better, no pings today." She sent a heart emoji, no words. She knew what that meant. Because no pings didn't just mean no Uber, it meant no footprints, no eyes I didn't allow, no invisible leashes, just me, going, unwatched, unfollowed, unshared. That night, I finally opened the Uber app one more time, typed in a random destination, not for a trap, not for bait, just because I wanted to leave the house. The driver pulled up. I stepped inside. The car smelled like vanilla this time, different brand of cleaner. The dashboard light turned blue again. It painted my hands in familiar glow, but it didn't scare me, didn't freeze me. I looked at my reflection in the side window, calm, still. He used to say, "I track you because I care." But tracking isn't caring. It's collecting. It's deciding who someone's allowed to be. Now I decide. And my silence? My silence is no longer fear. It's control. The final trip I took was to the courthouse. Not to file. To finish. 3 months had passed since the binder closed. 3 months of silence. Not emptiness. Just peace. No new group chats. No mysterious Uber screenshots. No passive-aggressive, "You good?" texts from blocked numbers. The only pings I got now were from Camilla's memes and work Slack. No shadows, no signal tracing, just air. I stepped up to the second floor window and handed the clerk a stamped envelope. Inside? My official statement confirming compliance from both parties. No violations from Liam since the restraining order. No sightings. No breaches. I didn't write he changed. I wrote I changed. Because the win wasn't that he disappeared. It's that he no longer mattered. The clerk handed me a stamped receipt. Have a good day. I smiled. Already am. A week later, I got a letter from the state DV unit. Short, clinical. But one line stood out. You've met the threshold for closure. Your documentation exceeds the standard. I read it twice. Exceeds the standard. The irony wasn't lost on me. He used to say I was too much, too cautious, too sensitive, too private. Turns out, that was survival. And I was very, very good at it. Later that night, Camilla and I sat outside at a taco truck downtown. I.e. Friday night noise. Teens in thrifted denim. A guy doing wheelies on a rental scooter. Camilla bit into a taco and grinned. Camilla. So, how's freedom? I thought about that. Not safety, not victory, just space. Me. Like a room with no mirrors. Camilla. Meaning? Me. Nothing watching back. The next day, I dropped off a sealed envelope at Detective Salinas' office. It wasn't required, just a thank you. Inside, I'd placed a thumb drive labeled Full Timeline, Natalie R/Final Submission. It had everything. The AirTag photo, the email confirming it was his, the chat logs, the decoy ride trap, the Uber logs, the voicemail. Each file named, timestamped, and numbered. Liam might try to revise the story someday. But I'd already written it in code, screenshots, and legal documents. I didn't scream louder. I built a louder truth. That weekend, Camila and I repainted my front door. Stupid, small thing. But I needed something fresh. Something mine. We picked storm gray, neutral, clean. A shade you couldn't pin down. Midway through, I paused and looked at my phone. I opened the Uber app. Typed in a new address. Not a decoy, not a trap, just a bookstore across town. Hit confirm. The app pinged once. Driver en route. No screenshots followed. I smiled. Stepped back inside to wash the paint from my fingers. The door was still half done. But I'd finished what mattered. That ride was quiet. No radio, no notifications. Just the soft hum of the tires and the familiar glow of the dashboard washing my hands in blue again. Only this time, it didn't feel like exposure, it felt like motion. The driver didn't speak, didn't ask questions, just drove. When we pulled up, I paused, not out of fear, but reflection. This was the first ride I'd taken since everything ended. No one else's name on it, no shared credentials, no backup accounts, no oversight, just me and my destination. I got out slowly, felt the door thunk behind me. The city air hit my face, clean, cool, and mine again. My phone stayed warm in my palm, but this time, it didn't scare me. It felt like power. And just before I walked into the bookstore, I thought, he tried to turn my rides into a leash. But the moment I proved it, the leash snapped, and he was the one exposed. If this story struck a chord, hit like, subscribe, and tell me what you think in the comments.